All right, guys, it is Coach Laird here. I'm coming in with episode 2 of how to maximize baseball lessons. And today's topic is, it's not about the reps during your lessons. It is about the quality of your reps. It is about being intentional. It is about understanding what proprioception means and having that awareness of your body in space, movements that you're doing. All of these things tangled into one basically mean quality reps. So what I'm going to get at here is, I'll give you an example. Most people will show up to hitting lessons. I don't say most people. I would say about half people will show up and they'll sign up for hitting lessons, okay? And they'll have this idea in their head that you're supposed to do, hundreds of thousands of reps, I guess, It's hard to get an idea of exactly what everybody has the intention of, because I don't ask them like, hey, what are you expecting? Because the program that I run is based on my program. It's not based on what other people think. So saying that, what I've gotten over the last 10, 11 years of doing lessons is people show up and they think, especially the kids, right? Definitely a lot of the parents, specifically the dads, they think that, hey, we're going to do 1,000,000 reps every single day that we're in here. And yes, we will do a lot of reps, but especially in the beginning. So if we're focusing on actually helping somebody swing, for instance, in a hitting lesson, if we're trying to make somebody swing better, we're trying to improve his movement patterns, well, I'm first going to assess his mobility, and I'm going to assess his core stability, his core strength. Because if somebody physically cannot get into a position, they're not especially from a passive range of motion. Like if you cannot physically get into that position, just standing, how in the world are you going to be able to do it explosively? It's not going to happen. I always use the term, without the mobility, you can't get into a powerful position without the mobility or the strength and stability. So, give you an example. Understanding how getting the hips to fire first with guys, and like for hitters, being able to get that pelvis, those hips to rotate, right, and lead the way, lead the sequence. When I talk about hitting the sequence I go with and I teach, and excuse me, I'm going to clear my throat a lot because I'm a little sick. I'm going to start with the hips, then we're going to go to the torso, right, and then we're going to go with the hands, and then lastly the barrel's going to come through. So that's your four parts of the sequence. And I actually have been teaching that myself for years, and then K-Vest came out, and that's actually the same sequence that they have when they do their K-Vest swings when they analyze guys and hitting. So that was really cool for me to see that. And I include the back elbow and some other things in part of the torso and little things here and there that I'll get into in the future with my advanced hitting book. But I've got to understand, like if I have a new client and if I see them, they're swinging, right? So I'll do an assessment. I'll watch them swing like BP. I'll throw in some leg kicks right there to make it a little bit more realistic, like it's game situation. If I see the front side, flying open, which a lot of young athletes and even older athletes, they'll swing with their shoulders, they'll swing with their torso first or their hands first. They're not swinging sequentially. So I have to assess, is this a mobility weakness or is this a strength weakness? And a lot, with my health and exercise science background, I utilize a lot of stuff I learned in the weight room, strength and conditioning and movement patterns to help kids. And we got a lot of drills to help with these guys. So for instance, a lot of our drills in our lessons are based on improving movement patterns, right? So we do a lot of turns, right? We do a lot of rack turns. We do a lot of lower half mobility for the bottom half firing first, right? And then the torso and then the hands. I have this drill called the knob drill and the frisbee drill, where we're really focusing on the hips, and inward turn drill, we're focusing on the hips as well as the backside, guiding ourselves in the swing. So there's a lot of drills that I have that anchor what we do at Laird's Training and help increase that sequence. So saying that, kind of a long-winded explanation, people think they come in and they're just doing rep. Here's the problem with that. And if you have an instructor or you just go in and you're just doing reps right now, it's one thing if you're working on increasing bat speed, getting stronger, weighted bats, underload training. That's a part of the process if you're working on increasing bat speed, increasing tools. What I'm referring to is if you're not actually trying to fix somebody's faults, you're reinforcing the bad habits by constantly just focusing on reps. And what I mean by that is maybe it's just screen toss over and over. Maybe it's just soft toss over and over. You got to be intentional with everything that you do. You got to have a purpose with what you do. And I had this old coach back in the day at school. He'd always say at college at South Alabama would be like, hey, be all here, be in the moment. And whatever you're doing in a hitting lesson, if you have a specific drill that you're doing, you need to focus on that. Be all there, be in the moment. Focus on what is the purpose of this drill. And you need to actually achieve and conquer that purpose. Nothing else is important at that moment. And we break down the swing and we'll do little drills that focus on each sequence, little drills that help. And then once we start getting to the regular swing, and then poof, everything starts firing sequentially, everything starts firing properly, and kids all of a sudden, they'll see them click and go, wow, that was amazing. That felt good. I hit that. I crushed that ball. And they don't know why. So again, that leads into proprioception. Is, not only are we being intentional with reps, not only are we only focusing on quality reps and the quality of the drills, we're also focused on proprioception, which is awareness of the body in space, right? Awareness of where their hands are at launch position, awareness of where their body, their hips are at launch position. Are the hips, are they leading the way? Are they the driving force? Or are we, a top-down hitter that doesn't understand how to control their pelvis or their lower body, So that proprioception is huge, because I can sit here and explain things over and over and give as many cues as I want, but if an athlete does not understand, semantics is a problem in baseball, and a lot of people use semantics, and I'm not going to get into swinging down and stuff like that, but a lot of people are trying to teach the same things, just other people have a better way with words, and other people use different definitions for different things. I don't have any respect for people. Like, if I post on social media and you got trolls that are like, oh, what does this mean? I don't have the time to explain that stuff. I take care of my 3 children during the day, and I'm running my business at night. The coaches that have time to post nonstop on social media are the ones that are not training a lot of kids, because that's the whole purpose of what we're trying to do at LTs. We're trying to train young men and women to be high character and be a high athlete as a ball player. But getting back to what I'm saying is, if I'm just focusing on reps as an instructor, hey, let's get in 300, 400 swings today, and that athlete does not understand, proprioception or where his hands are, or what the purpose of this is, or they're just trying to pull every single pitch and not hitting the ball to all fields. They're not hitting the ball to all fields with authority or driving the ball in the gaps. I'm not doing my due diligence for that child. So when you're doing your reps, and this is where I'm going to get even more detailed here, your reps, the lesson is not about the reps. So whether you're doing a half-hour lesson, an hour lesson, a 45-minute lesson, whether it's just you in a private, or you have 3-4 people in there and you're doing semi-private lessons, the lessons are for you to learn. The lessons are for you to feel. The lessons are for you to understand proprioception and understand what your faults are, and increase your strengths while also improving your faults and turning those into strengths. The repetition that you need to be focused on. Let's say, for instance, we do end up doing a lot of reps. Like if you watch and do every single drill in our pre-warm-up and stuff, we do a ton of reps. But there's not a lot of reps when it's just swinging at times. We might have to focus on the sequence, right? We might have to focus on the quality movements. I might have certain drills. We do a lot of wrist rolls, a lot of strength work too. We do a lot of reps, but it's a lot of reps that encapsulate a lot of different goals. We're trying to achieve a lot of different objectives during a lesson, not just swinging the bat and hitting ball in BP. You got to understand, and again, a little bit on BP. If you just go and hit and you're just hitting BP every day and you're doing the same thing over and over and over and over, and you have no focus, no purpose, you're not intentional with your movements, you're not going to get better. I always would laugh at people who think that increasing their timing through BP is going to, like, how to increase your time and make your time better is through BP. And I'm going to have a separate video on timing. But you have to achieve, and you have to find a daily hitting routine, find those drills that help you keep your sequence, help you keep your timing, help you hit the ball on the barrel as consistent as possible, and that's part of your routine every day before you get into BP. But the thing that you have to understand is your reps to get that muscle memory are on your own. No instructor, and if they're feeding you this line of BS, is going to create muscle memory 1 hour or a half hour or whatever, however long your lesson is a week. It's not going to happen. You will improve your muscle memory, but for it to be consistent and stick with you, you have to have the cognitive ability to be aware of what you're doing. You have to focus on what you're doing. You have to actually be intent in what you're doing when you're on your own, and you have to do those drills when you're on your own, whether you're at practice with your team, your high school baseball team, your college baseball program. College guys, they'll come see me during their breaks in the winter and the summer, and they'll get these drills like, oh, this is awesome, and they'll go do them. And there's a reason why those guys are playing college baseball. And then I got high school guys and middle school guys that aren't doing those drills on their own, and they falter, and they kind of go like this. Well, they have really good weeks, and they have really bad weeks. And that's a problem. That's a mental issue, and that's a focus issue, you not being good enough, and not trying to work hard enough to be able to achieve your goals. But at the end of the day, it's not about the reps, it's about the quality of the movement. Understand that there's a process with everything. If you have the ego that you think it's just about reps and you just need to hit BP, then have your dad throw BP to you, because that's not the focus on lessons. The focus is to get you better, improve your movements, get you stronger, increase your bat speed, increase your exit velocity, while also consistently learning how to hit off-speed pitches, actually making the hips fire first. I could sit here and talk for an hour about the whole purpose of lessons. But understand, lessons are not about the reps. They're about the quality of the reps, the quality of the movement, and improving your movement, having awareness of your movement. Episode 2, how to maximize baseball lessons. Large training, guys. See you later.